Police say Peter Keller worked on this elaborate hideout for years.
A man wanted for killing his family killed himself in that bunker on Friday as SWAT teams moved in.
Keeping track of the days before committing a hideous crime might be seen as insane, but what is more insane is recording your thoughts and progress each day as a way to keep track of your journey. What goes through the mind of a husband and father? What project keeps them awake at night planning a way forward for it? Many would say his family or his job. And in the case of Peter Keller, you might be right. Both his family and his job kept him awake at night, but not for the reason you might think no. His reasons are much more sinister, and his solution to solving his problem is one that left the entire community in a state of disbelief and shock. Peter Keller. Peter was seen as an average day dad and husband who did everything he could to ensure his family was well cared for. He was married to Lynette Keller, and they both had a daughter named Kayleen Keller. This family all shared their love for videoing each other daily activities. Lynette owns a YouTube channel where she vlogs herself, making paper crafts and selling to her viewers. This career path might not be what Lynette had always wanted for herself. But alas, life does not always give us what we want. Lynette had to quit her full-time job due to health reasons. She suffered a medical condition which made it difficult for her where to stand or sit for long periods. Lynette experiences severe pains due to this medical conditions. Through this trying time for her, Lynette shares on her YouTube channel how amazing, caring, and supportive her husband is towards her. She often talks about the emotional support to ensure she is always in the right frame of mind, and also the financial support he renders. He always asks her what she needs for her craft and makes sure to give her the money needed to buy whatever she needs for her craft. In one of her videos, she shares how she met her husband Peter and Lynette, met in high school but never said anything to each other. Years later, they meet again, and this time, they became close in an instant, going from strangers to best friends in such a short period. A few years after reconnecting, they start dating officially, and 1 month after, Peter asks Lynette to be his wife, but she says no, stating they just started dating. Not one to be deterred by the first rejection, Peter 3 months later asks her to be his wife again, and after much encouragement from her friends and family, she accepts his proposal and they get married. She concludes by stating that they've been happily married for more than 18 years now. From recorded videos of him, Peter sounds like the perfect man. Every lady would love to say I do too, but no one truly knows the thoughts that goes through his head, and no one knows the silent conversations and debates he keeps having internally. No one can hide their thoughts for long, because soon thoughts become words and words become actions. And in the case of Peter, it happened a few months after the graduation of his only child from high school. Kayleen Keller is the only child of Peter and Lynette. She also has the hobby of videoing her family. In a video recording, Kayleen can be seen going around the house with a camera pointed at her parents and them just having a good family time together. Another video of the family during her high school graduation goes to show the beautiful bond they have as a family. Peter could even be heard in the background, congratulating her and teasing her about leaving his house soon. Well, at the time the video was made, we all believed it was a joke, not knowing Peter was thinking about it seriously. The video recordings. Peter lived in North Bend, Washington, an area filled with beautiful dense forests, and being surrounded by dense woods gave him the perfect place to set up his hideout, which was dubbed Camp Keller. Peter visits this spot at least once a week and spends more than 9 hours daily there. Peter, being a survivalist and lover of nature, raised no suspicion when he would disappear into the woods for long periods and return all sweaty and tired. He kept posting videos and sharing tips on how to survive if things were to go wrong. Unknown to everyone around him, he was building a fortress where he could hide out and live out his childhood fantasy of being underground with no connection to the outside world. A place where he could hide without working or seeing people. Most dream of a situation where they can escape reality for a few days to unwind, but that was not Peter's dream. His dream was to remain hidden forever. And this begs the question, what happens to his family when he leaves? Do they leave with him? Do they stay away and have no contact whatsoever with him? We might not have the answer to this question, but Peter Keller, having thought of this already, has a plan at hand, a plan he was already counting down to. In some videos, it shows him rethinking his great plan. In other videos, it shows him fully convinced that this was the only way out, that this was his path to freedom and living out his fantasy. He believed there was no other way out for him, and this reinforced his commitment towards Camp Keller. This camp was built by Peter himself from scratch, and constructing such a place costs money, and he spent thousands of dollars buying things for the place. He is seen showing off a fully furnished kitchenette with a stack of vodka. There were cans of arsons and gas cylinders seen laying around. Different tools like chains, hacksaws, guns, and lots of other ammunition that cost thousands of dollars were also seen laying around in Camp Keller. He also had a generator, which was what he intended to use to power the place when he eventually retired to his handmade man cave to live out his dream and fantasy. In his videos, he shows his creativity in crafting the place and his handmade pieces of equipment, such as a locally crafted stove with a chimney to take the smoke outside. This particular creation of his was what led to his downfall. Countdown to tragedy. From the video footage found, Peter can be seen recording his progress on the cabin and his thoughts as he counts down to the day he finally becomes free. You might be wondering what this freedom would be and how he hoped to achieve this sought-after freedom. On the 22nd of April 2012, there was a great explosion which was heard by the neighbors, and the fire department was summoned immediately. On arriving, they were able to put out the fire that was blazing in the Keller residence. The fire department then proceeded to check the apartment and assess the damages. Little did they know they were about to open a whole can of worms that would forever scar the community. In the apartment, they found the body of Kaylene and her mum Linity lying on their beds untouched by the fire, but with a gunshot wound on both their heads. This discovery made it clear that the fire was set up as a cover-up for the deaths, but the timely intervention of the fire department prevented the fire from spreading. You might think that was all there was to it, but no, there was more. During the search of the building, traces of arson were discovered, and a gas cylinder was also seen. All these are indications the culprit wanted to leave no trace of what happened. The most shocking discovery for the authorities was the stack of hard drives discovered in the residence. This hard drive contained video recordings of Peter Keller, who was seen acting all distressed and stressed in the video, leading the authorities to believe he might be in some kind of danger. Tragic revelations. They immediately started their investigation, which led them to his place of work, and after asking around, the colleagues gave a statement saying that he left after the close of work, saying he might be back tomorrow, next week, next year, or never at all. This statement, along with the statement his bank shared that he withdrew a large sum of $6,200 in cash. They went ahead and watched the videos found in the hard drive. In this video, sinister truths were revealed about the true intention of Peter Keller, who all along had been recording himself in preparation for killing his family. Yes, we never would have guessed his grand plan was to kill his family and live in the woods. In his video, he stated he doesn't know how long he would be able to last in the woods. It might be a week, a month, or even a year. But his grand plan was to last 10 years in the woods before ending it all. The search for Peter Keller intensified, and clues from the pictures found in the house were enough to let the police know he was hiding in the woods. After several days of searching the area, on the 6th of May 2012, Peter gave himself away when smoke from his crafted chimney was discovered by one of the pilots scouring the skies. After his exact location was pinpointed, the authorities decided to proceed with caution because they couldn't invade the house due to the many ammunition suspected to be in the... They were speculating it could be a hostage situation, and they wouldn't want to put the lives of all those involved at risk. Their first strategy was to throw in a gas cylinder to drive out those in the house. When this proved futile, an idea to waterlog the cabin was brought up by one of the pilots. After the house had been waterlogged and no one came out, the authorities went ahead to surround the house and shout out a warning to anyone in the house. During this interaction, a pop sound was heard, but they paid no mind to it and went ahead to break down the door, and on getting inside, Peter Keller was found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This discovery, though a tragic one for the community, brought them relief and peace that such a heartless killer was discovered on time, because no one knew what else he was capable of seeing, as he could kill his wife and only child with no remorse. They found it hard to come to terms with the fact that someone seen as a loving and caring husband would be capable of committing such gruesome murder to his loved ones. This hideous act could have been avoided if only he had been able to share these dark thoughts and seek professional help to help me overcome his major depressive disorder. That brings us to the end of Peter Keller, the killer who vlogged his murders. Click the share and like button if you enjoyed today's video. For more thrilling stories, you can subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell to be alerted of all our new videos. The fun must not end now. Click the next video suggested on your screen to continue down the path of thrilling criminal cases.